It's time for another tale from the glass-guarded world. This time will be different, however, as this episode is a one-shot game we recorded at Freecon 2018. This story takes place a couple months before the main campaign story starts. I think you'll find that this session sets up some things you've already seen in the main storyline. Bandy Brad Garreau and Lindley Bever are professional burglars, known for burglarizing wizard towers. They have retired after successful careers, but spent the money more quickly than they planned, so they're back to their old tricks. Their target for tonight is a wizard familiar to regular podcast listeners. This panel session for Tales from the Glass-Guarded World, an actual play D&D podcast recorded here in Tallahassee. I'm Mike, the DM, and I'm joined here by...
Paxton, the human cleric. Wait a minute, no. Not this time. This time I'm Lindley Bever, the fighter wizard played by Brian.
Great.
I'm Ashley, and I'm playing Barzak.
I'm Andy, and I'm playing Bandy Brad Garreau.
Yes, and to be clear, Barzak is an orcish barbarian sorcerer.
Yes,
right?
She is.
And Bandy Brad Garreau is a thief.
Yeah, halfling thief.
Yeah.
Well, we're all thieves, right?
Well, yes.
You are a rogue,
it's my
specifically.
But he's officially a thief. Today's one-shot game is sort of brought to you by Burrito Border here in Tallahassee, which has D&D and Pathfinder night Wednesdays, and they've asked me to let everyone know that. And there's a meetup group you can join for more information. And DMs eat and drink free.
Hooray.
Yeah. We'd like to thank the organizers of Freecon for letting us run this panel, thank our listeners for supporting the show, and thank our audience today for showing up. You can find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. You can also visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/Tales from the Glass-Guarded World. We're on Twitter as @TFTGGW. And you can also send us email at tftggw@gmail.com. Feel free to rate us on iTunes or Stitcher as well. Our players will not be portraying their usual characters today because we're missing Danielle, who plays Athelflaed. Instead, we'll be doing a one-shot taking place in the same campaign setting, just a little bit earlier than the regular story. Two of the characters you'll meet today are ones we used in a test recording before we started the main podcast, and you will eventually get to hear that in the podcast feed. That means you'll be hearing things a little bit out of order, as the events in that test recording take place 30 years before the events today and in the main podcast story. We'll learn about these characters in a moment. Let's start the story. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In a street just off the main market square in the city of Four, the largest of the free cities, a cloaked figure keeps watch from a window as a man does something very unusual. For the past hour, this man, an elf with white hair and colorful red robes, has been operating his business, a magic shop, which appears to be located in a building facade, like we might imagine a Hollywood Old West set looks like. This facade is on wheels, though, and the elf has been leaning out of a magical window or portal in the side of the facade, but tonight has not been a good night for business. With a sigh, he climbs out of the window and begins wheeling it to the alley behind a cheese shop. As he does so, however, a mirror flops down, covering the magical portal that the elf climbed out of. The elf curses loudly. "Well, fiddlesticks," he says, a well-known elven curse. The cloaked figure realizes that this is his chance. He runs down the stairs and stealthily creeps as close to the alley as he dares, stopping in a shadow across the street. The elf folds a rear prop up against the facade and then leans the facade against the wall of the building. After looking around to make sure no one is nearby, the elf leans toward the mirror blocking the portal. The cloaked figure leans forward too, trying to hear. The elf says something, and though the cloaked figure cannot quite hear it, he is watching the wizard's lips intently. As soon as the elf finishes speaking, the mirror makes a clicking noise. Quickly, the elf lifts up the mirror and climbs through the portal, disappearing into the thin facade and closing the mirror behind him. Ghostly words then appear on the mirror. "Closed for the evening. Come back tomorrow." The cloaked figure grins to himself and takes a last look at the facade. The words on the sign are just barely legible in the darkness. Sigbert's Sorceress Sundries. The cloaked figure is Bandy Brad Garreau, infamous halfling thief and burglar, sometimes called the Whisperer of the Tower. He has been staking out Sigbert's shop for months. Bandy Brad, what do you do?
So I was able to hear the password, right?
You couldn't quite hear it, but because you have the observant feat, you were able to read his lips.
Okay, so what do I know the password to be?
The password is... Everyone should have a good pair of magic shoes.
Everyone should have a good pair of magic shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to wait a couple hours and wait until it gets deep into the night before I actually go up to the facade and try the password.
Okay,
Sure
so you
that it
wait a
works.
couple hours. It does not reopen. And you walk up to the facade, you walk up to the mirror, and you say...
Everyone should have a good pair of magic shoes.
And you hear a soft click.
Perfect. So I can tell that I'm going to try to flip the mirror to see if I'm able to open the portal.
It lifts up.
Okay. Can I stick my head inside and make sure that nothing happens?
Yep.
All right. I'll go ahead and flip it back down and make sure that it's closed and leave to go find my band of thieves.
Okay. Are you going to come back later that night, or what's your plan?
No. So I'm going to go back and find them. Make sure that we have the equipment necessary, and make sure that everyone's interested in going to go rob a wizard. So that if they both agree, then we'll go ahead and do it in probably a couple weeks to a month, just to make sure that he forgets about the fact that this happened.
Right. All right. So a couple months later, you come back to the mirror and the facade, which has again been put away for the evening. And you've got your friends with you. You've got your friend Linley Bever, who is someone you've worked with before. And then you've got a hireling you brought with you, this orc. So Ashley, go ahead and introduce Barzak.
Am I talking to them?
Sure, go ahead and tell everyone. Well, go ahead and tell the listeners what Barzak looks like, because they already know Barzak. The characters already do.
Barzak is a full-blooded orc, and she's in just regular-looking people clothes, but she still stands out because she's really tall and green, and she has a lot of hair. Like her arms are hairy, and she has really coarse black hair and like a top knot on her head. It doesn't look cute. Small, beady eyes and tusks that overlap her lip. But she talks really cheerful.
All right, cool.
Yep.
And what are you telling them?
Well, guys, I've been staking out Zigbert's shop for a while, and I was finally able to catch a break, as you already know. To go over the plan one last time before we go inside, I've heard that he has the master key, which is set to open every lock. Let's go inside, take what we can, and leave. Let's do this as quickly as we can, because as you remember, Lindley, wizards are not fun when they get mad.
That's for sure.
Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll try the password again. Everyone should have a good pair of magic shoes.
All right. Once again, you hear a soft click.
I cannot believe that we are robbing my favorite person.
And is it Sigbert's Sorceress Sundries?
At this point in time, it is Sigbert's Sorceress Sundries. That's
This
right.
is
He has
before
not
the
suffered.
rebranding.
That's right. He has not rebranded his store yet.
Okay.
Okay.
You open the, you flip the mirror upward, even though the words say that the store is closed. But you flip the mirror upward. Inside the portal are rows of shelves stretching away from the portal window. A magical light on the ceiling illuminates all sorts of knickknacks and doodads on the shelves, all of them likely magical. Shoes, helmets, hats, weapons, ropes, fruit, and even musical instruments are scattered around in no obvious pattern or organization. At the very back of the room stands a full suit of polished plate mail armor. It doesn't glow, but it does catch and reflect the light brilliantly.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize, guys. We're looking for
Master
the
key?
key. The master key.
You have any idea where it's at?
No clue. So let's let's try to find it. Can I climb in first and then go ahead and just make sure that the room is clear?
All right, you climb inside. You don't see anyone moving around in here. I'll roll a perception check for you here.
If anything, I'll just do a stealth check and do a passive perception of 20.
Passive perception of 20.
Observant feat.
Wow. That is impressive.
How come I didn't get that?
All right. Well, with passive perception of 20, I can tell you all sorts of things about this room. So the room is still quiet, except for that there's a mechanical ticking and whirring noise. The walls are stone. In fact, they appear to have been carved out of a solid stone. The room is about 50 feet by 50 feet with 9-foot ceilings. As you look behind you after entering, you can still see the streets of the city of One behind you. There you can also see a dial on the wall to the left of the mirror, and it's currently set to closed for the evening, come back tomorrow. It has a variety of other settings. Should I go through them, or do you care?
I totally care.
You totally care. Okay. All right. They say, closed until further notice. Come back another day. Come back tomorrow. This might take a while. Have a seat. Sigbert should be right back after the next mealtime. This won't take long now. Relax. Sigbert will be with you shortly. Sigbert is on his way. Sigbert will be here any moment. And then there's another dial to the right of the mirror that has several locations on it. The locations are 1, 2, 3, 4, Newtower, Zoberfeld, Menadum, Watcherton, Aldeport, and Drungeldoon. And the dial is currently set to 1.
Okay. So once we go inside, just simply find the nearest door and head forward. Do you guys want to climb inside with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside.
All right,
So
you are
what
all
information
inside.
is-
Finn, as you're looking around, because of your high perception check, I'll tell you a few other things. That whirring noise is coming from what appears to be a mechanical rooster, and it has a cloth hood over its head, and there's a price tag on it that has been repeatedly marked down from 500 gold all the way down to 20 gold. There is a standard variety of items on the shelves, things that you guys have mentioned in the main podcast, so we won't go through all of those, but if there is any one particular one of them that you'd like to grab, let me know. There are 2 doors in the back of the room, one to the right and one to the left. Both doors are closed. And then under the front desk that you actually had to climb over to get in, there is a chest, more like a safe, actually.
Let me go ahead and try my thieves' tools to open it.
All right, you can roll that.
1.
Ooh, no, I'm afraid that lock defies you. It's a very sophisticated lock.
I'll try this on the way out. Let's go further in.
But even as you're jostling it, you can hear things jingling around inside. It's very frustrating.
Things like coins.
Things like coins, yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's right next to the exit. We can always just like plop it right over on the way out.
Bad time to fumble.
Okay.
Well, worst case scenario, we can just shove that thing out the window, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right next to it.
It probably won't fit.
Oh.
We
We'll
can
figure it
make
out.
it fit with a strength check.
You could try.
Yeah.
We're just gonna make the hole bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Sure.
time.
That won't mess with the magic at all.
So let me find the closest door and just listen to it before trying to open it.
They're equally close, right and left. Which one do you want to go to?
Let's go left.
All right, you go left. All right, so you go to the door on the left and you listen to it, and you don't hear anything particular. There's some dim light coming from under the door.
Is there dim light under the other one as well?
Yes, there's dim light coming from under both doors. They're on opposite sides of the room.
Okay.
The one on the left, as you're checking it, as you're doing your perception check on it, you think, as you jostle it, you think you hear the sound of some glass tinkling, making a little jingling noise.
I stop and go for the right door.
Okay. You go for the right door, checking that one. Again, you hear nothing. You think, however, that there's a string running up the side of the door, and this one's probably trapped.
Considering where I am, would I be able to disarm the trap? Try to cut the
Yes,
string?
you could disarm it. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and do that.
Tool check.
7 plus expertise, so that would be 13?
You think you probably did not disarm it.
No?
It's probably still there.
Okay. With a sigh of frustration at my thieves' tools, I go ahead and just try to open the door on the left then.
All right. You open the door on the left, and as you open it, you realize that there was in fact a string with bits of glass tied onto it right behind the door, and it jingles loudly as you open the door, but nothing else happens.
I just simply signal to Barzark and Lindley so that we can move forward quickly.
All right. You run through the door on your left, and you run into a hallway. There's a hallway here that is 5 feet wide and 25 feet long, with a door at the end, and a door to your left and to your right. And there are landscape paintings hung on both sides of the hall. The room is lit by red and yellow magical lights along the floor, giving it a warm, welcoming glow. So there's a door on your left, door on your right, and a door straight ahead.
Where do you guys want to go?
I want to see if I can see anything about any of the doors.
The door on the right, there's a slight glow coming from it. The door on the left, there's no light coming from under it at all. And then straight ahead, there's some dim light coming from under that door. You think if you listen to the door straight ahead, you can hear someone talking faintly. Sounds like they're muffled behind a door or something like that.
I point left.
Yeah, we should definitely not go in whichever room it sounds like there's talking coming from.
All right, let's go left then.
All right, you go left.
Check that door, though.
Yeah, check it for traps.
It is neither locked nor trapped. If your passive perception is 20, then that makes pretty much all your trap checks and
Automatic.
checking for sounds and all that kind of stuff. You're just pretty much automatically going to succeed.
Okay.
As you enter, magical torches set into the walls of this room suddenly light themselves, filling the room with a warm glow. Before you is a long, beautifully carved table, assembled from several kinds of wood. The carving depicts a view of an elven city as though viewed from the sky. A layer of glass sits atop the wood, protecting it and making it appear even more exotic. There are 6 comfortable-looking padded chairs around the table and 2 potted plants flanking one of the doors. The door you came in through. There's another door in here as well. What do you want to do?
What do you guys want to do? I'm thinking let's continue moving forward.
Like, do you know where he keeps this key?
Yeah, I figured you'd have some clue before you brought us into this.
The biggest issue that I had was being able to get in because Sigbert is very secretive with the location of his tower. So I was never actually able to scope out the tower. I just needed to figure out how to break into it. So for now, I would say let's try to keep moving forward without finding him. Worst case scenario, we can steal stuff on the way out. Also, do you remember when we used to steal glass for a living?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to the next door.
All right, the door on the other side of this room is across from the table.
Can I inspect the room to see if there's anything first?
Sure. You want to look around the room? I mean, the furniture and the table are probably really valuable. Unfortunately, they're not portable.
Yeah, I'm not going to take a table, but never mind. I got a 3. So
No, I'm afraid nothing else looks interesting. But as you're walking around the room and as you pass one of the chairs, it actually scoots away from the table for you as if to encourage you to sit.
It's like Beauty and the Beast's castle.
I was thinking, let's hope it's not a mimic.
No, he doesn't keep a mimic in his dining room.
Can I try to make it laugh? It's just a joke.
No. So you go to the other door, and you listen, and you don't hear anything at all, and there's a dim light coming from under the door.
Go ahead and try to open it.
All right, it is unlocked, and you enter a washroom.
Okay.
Complete with a tub, sink, shelf of towels, a fuzzy bathrobe hanging on the wall. A wooden chest sits next to the tub. And there's a dim magical light on the ceiling that brightens slightly as you enter. And as you exit the other room, the torches all go out. And there's a door to your right.
Not the one that we came in through.
Not the one you came in through.
Okay, so I think this side, the left side, is his living quarters. Where do you think he's more likely to keep the key? Do you think it'll be more likely to be with the storage, or would he be likely to keep it with?
Definitely not with the dirty laundry, so we should probably back out.
Yeah?
Agreed.
Okay, so do you guys want to, in that case, go back to the main hallway and then try the door on the right? That has
Sure.
the string?
Yep.
Alrighty, let's do that.
You're the master thief. I'll go wherever you go.
Let's go ahead and just backtrack and then try the door on the right. Can I try to cut the string one more time?
You can try again, but I'll give you disadvantage this time.
That's fair. Okay, 13 plus 6, so 19.
All right, you are able to disable the trap.
Okay.
And as you open the door, it looks like there was a poison trap that would release gas behind the door, but you have disabled it.
Okay.
Okay,
Damn
so
wizards.
here's another hallway. This hallway is 5 feet wide and 25 feet long with a door at the end and a door to your left and right. There's a chalkboard on the wall to your right with some kind of arcane scribbling all over it. And the hall is lit by a single magical stone in the ceiling emitting a cold white light. And then there are doors ahead of you and then to your left and right.
Is the chalk legible, or is it written in a language?
It is written in some sort of arcane mathematical scribbling.
Can I arcana check to see
Sure.
if I can read it?
Ditto.
I'll look around and make sure no one's coming.
16.
Both of you believe it is an attempt to develop some new kind of spell having to do with dancing.
So he makes these worthless items.
Okay, so 3 doors. Where do you guys want to go? I think we're on the right side this time.
Straight, left, or right?
You said right side?
The correct side.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're on the right side of his original shop room,
Yeah, we came in through here.
and he thinks it's the correct side to be on to find the key.
I'm checking for noises and lights.
Same.
Okay, you check all 3 doors. There is a glow coming from the door to your left, a reddish glow. From the door to your right, there is a greenish glow coming under the door, and then nothing at all coming from the door in front of you.
Left.
All right, you go to your left, the door emitting a warm reddish light.
Let me try the door. Same basics. Try to listen, then see if it's locked or trapped.
It is locked. You
All
don't
right.
think it's trapped.
I'm gonna go ahead and unlock it. 10.
It is still locked.
I remember
right.
you being a lot better at this.
Is the door made of wood?
It is made of wood.
Can I chop it open?
Yes. I should mention you also have the spell knock.
But
Oh,
if
yeah.
you use the spell knock, that will also create a sound around 300 feet.
I'm assuming chopping
Knock
it
makes
down
a
will
booming
also do
knocking
that.
noise and then
Wow.
opens it. Yeah.
Well, knocking it down would also make a booming noise, but it's up to you. Which booming noise do you want to create?
Or
You
we
wanna do
can
it
try
orc
another
style?
door.
Yeah, I'm definitely in a great axe mood.
Okay, great. I guess make an attack on the door.
Oh no.
She misses.
It's a 1.
Oh, no. All right, I guess I should pull up the fumble table.
I'm going to knock myself prone trying to knock down a door.
All right, roll percentile.
Okay. 13. Lucky.
You strike yourself slightly on your backswing, and you take 1 damage. So I guess the axe reverberates off the door and smacks you in the shoulder for 1 point of damage. Door is tougher than it looked.
Brad,
I was trying to be quiet.
Where did you get this person?
I was trying to be quiet.
Hey, she's got the magic knowledge that we lack, so we need her right
He's
now.
got quite a bit of knowledge. Actually, what she's got is muscle.
I'm very offended.
It's been a long night, man. I'm sorry. All right, let me go ahead and try, in that case, the door to the right with a green glow.
All right, go ahead and try to pick that lock.
11?
No. Wow.
Okay, awful dice.
You can try them again with disadvantage if you'd like.
I'll try the one on the right with disadvantage. If not, I'll just go for the one up front. Both 13, so 19.
Ah, yes. All right, so you pick the door on the right.
Okay.
Lindley slow claps.
I give him a
Back at
look.
you and give you a side eye.
My beady orc eyes look angry.
A greenish glow fills this room, coming from a large magical septagram on the floor at the back of the room. A workbench on the right wall is covered with books and alchemical equipment. Liquids noisily and rhythmically bubble and evaporate into mist. A wooden chest sits by the wall to your left, as well as a green plant in a pot. It doesn't seem like the plant could possibly get enough light in here, but there it is. What do you want to do? There are no doors, by the way. This is the room.
I want to investigate the septagram.
Okay, roll an Arcana check.
21.
All right, as you approach the septagram and examine it, you decide this is probably a summoning and teleportation circle of some kind.
Okay.
And the area around it smells like fresh forest air. Scent of pine needles.
I would like to inspect the chest.
Okay, the chest is unlocked.
I open it.
You find a potion of greater healing. It's actually labeled that, potion
I
of greater
take
healing.
it.
And there's also another potion bottle that is labeled with, it has a picture of a tree on it. And looking inside it, you can see it has a black liquid with white flecks.
I take it.
Okay. And there are also 15 gold pieces and 37 silver pieces.
Do you take that too?
Oh, yes. Not saying a word.
Let me
But
go
do
ahead.
can I check on that, tree potion?
Yeah, you can try.
11 plus 6, so 17.
Yeah, you think it's some kind of potion of plant growth.
Okay.
Okay, that's
You
how
got some
plants
tree
stay
juice
alive.
there?
Let me go ahead and check the table. I want to see if I can find any notes or anything that may have a layout of this place.
All right, so there are several books on alchemy, and there's enough equipment to make a set of alchemist supplies. There is a potion not labeled. You can see it's a transparent liquid with what appears to be a big fingernail floating in it.
Gross.
Yeah, it's
I'll
pretty
take
gross.
I take it.
What? Who's taking it? You gonna fight over it?
Oh, darn.
No, I'll grab it, and then I see that the large orc several times my size is coming for it, so I just hand it over.
Okay,
Can I Arcana check to see what this is?
you can try. Yeah.
Oh, it's 7.
No, you don't know.
I drink it. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, let's move on to the next room,
Well,
guys.
there's one more thing on the table. There's also a shelf that is labeled "Just add water," with 5 bags on it.
I take one.
All right. Each bag is labeled. I'll tell you what they're labeled, and you tell me which one you're going to take.
Okay.
They are labeled boat, cup, meal, REPT, period, and DGC.
DGC? All right, REPT, DGC, and both. I'll take those 3.
Okay. You're leaving cup and meal behind.
Yeah.
All right.
And I want to move back to the hallway that we were in and into the room with no light, which was full.
Okay. So you go up to that door, and that door is locked.
It's probably going to stay locked because that was a 10.
Yep.
Is it made of wood?
It is made of wood.
I'm going to try again.
All right.
19
All right. You hit the door successfully. Roll your damage.
on the door. I do 4 damage on the door.
It is still standing.
I'm going to hit it again.
All right.
18.
Give it another solid hit.
7 damage.
All right. It is still standing.
How bad is it?
Is
Like-
it
It's
splintered?
It's getting splintered and falling apart. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not. You are hurting it.
Good. 19.
All right.
And this time it's 8.
All right. After a series of heavy blows, you manage to knock the door down. Victory at last.
All hail Barzak the Door Slayer.
Better than my thieves' tools, apparently.
I don't
It
even
made
take
a
that
loud
as
reverberating sound through the hallway down the hall behind you. It was not subtle.
Okay.
All right, so you bash through the door. In front of you,
Oh.
there is a room slightly bigger than Sigbert's main shop. It's about 45 feet in width and 55 feet in length, with columns around the room supporting a 20-foot ceiling. And I was going to ask for perception checks, but since your passive perception is 20, I guess I'll just tell you that that Bandy Brad notices that the ceiling and columns appear to be cracked. There are cracks running through them, as though they've suffered some kind of damage in the past.
Okay, so this looks like a large storage room that is somewhat mangled.
It has been at some point in the past. It's suffered some kind of damage.
Okay, so before we move forward, I'm going to go back to the door that leads to the hallway that we're in.
Okay.
I'm going to grab from my burglar's bag some string and a bell, and I'm going to set it low on the floor so that if anyone were to walk by, the bell will ring.
Great. You set a little trap behind you. The walls are lined with thick red curtains, and in the breaks between the curtains, you can see more of that solid stone wall that I've said the whole place looks as though it is carved out of.
Okay.
In the middle of the room is a short stone ring, perhaps a foot high, surrounding a pedestal. And there is a narrow opening in the wall facing you. I say wall, but again, it's only a foot high.
Okay.
You could, of course, easily step over the wall. On top of the pedestal, about 3 feet off the ground, is a large silver key on a round keychain.
I beam with happiness. And then I slowly move forward. Actually, first, I look back to my two teammates that are considerably more magically trained than me and see if you guys can spot anything that would be like a magical trap as I look for a regular trap.
That is a very good idea.
All right,
Alright.
do some Arcana checks.
First one for the night.
21.
22.
Wow. All right, so I'll tell you some other things you notice. As you walk around the room, the curtains are all locked in place on their curtain rods and locked to the floor. So they're secured with locks to both the curtain rods and the floor. And they are pulled fairly taut.
If they're, I was going to ask if they're velvet or some sort of like cloth, would I be able to pull them apart a little bit somewhere in the middle?
You can look behind them, pull them
Yeah.
apart. You can see behind them there's just wall.
Okay, there's just more wall. Okay, it's
Yeah.
decoration.
Um,
Possibly.
The key does not appear to have anything holding it down or visibly guarding it. The curtain in the rooms are very clean, but as you're doing your inspection of the room, you find a few long white and yellow hairs by the curtains across from you, across the room, and then there's a feather in the corner of the far right of the room from the door that you came in through. And as you approach the middle of the room, the two spellcasters, you feel a little uncomfortable, like there's something strange going on in the middle of the room.
And that's where the key is sitting on the pedestal, right?
Correct.
I want to investigate this pedestal to see if it's if there's anything about the pedestal that it's sitting on, like if it's a pressure plate or anything like that.
Okay. I guess go ahead and roll a perception check.
No.
No.
I'll
Looks
try
like a pedestal.
also.
All right.
It's 15 plus. What's. Oh, that's it. Yep. 15.
It appears to simply be sitting on a stone pedestal, and that's it.
The hairs and the feather, do I think that's because he doesn't want, or he wants to know if someone has disturbed the room, or is there something
look
going
like
on
they're-
with them?
The room is extraordinarily clean. It looks like these just somehow didn't get cleaned up.
I think that the moment that I take the key, there is something that's going to be summoned into this room or something that's going to come out of somewhere. So are you guys ready for a fight as soon as I grab this?
Hell yeah.
Ready,
Yup.
Barzark? All right. So since it's just floating kind of in the middle of the room, I'm not even going to touch the pedestal. I'm going to try to go for a running jump and just grab it and land on the other side of the pedestal. It's only 1 foot high,
Would
right?
you rather I pick it up with a mage hand?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I
Right.
hold my great axe.
You
up.
summon your mage hand,
Yes.
and Barzak gets her great axe out. And your mage hand, you send it toward the area where the pedestal is, and as soon as
I'm also going to get a bow and arrow ready.
you get your bow and arrow ready, as soon as it enters that stone ring, your spell is dispelled. It just disappears.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
It's as though it were just canceled as soon as it entered the stone ring.
All right, never mind, Brad. You do your ninja stuff.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and try to get it with a running jump without touching the pedestal.
Make an acrobatics check.
Okay. 17.
All right, you leap over the pedestal, grabbing the ring as you fly by, and you land on the other side, and nothing happens.
Okay. I count my blessings to the gods that don't exist, and then move on my way back to the group, triumphant with the key. And all right, now let's steal some more good stuff.
All right, so as you move around the room, as you approach one of the walls, as you're walking your way back toward the entrance, you hear an unlocking noise, and all of the locks that were holding up all the curtains suddenly fly unlocked. They just fly open, and the curtains start crashing down.
Okay. Do I need to make a dexterity saving throw to get out of the way? Okay.
Nope.
They're
They're just falling down and making lots of loud noises as the locks all hit the ground.
You don't have silent, do you, Barzark?
Sure don't.
I've got Expeditious Retreat, which I'm about to cast and run away from here if you all don't come with me.
Let's go ahead and let's try to move out of this room.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As you continue to run toward the exit,
Wait,
you pass
can
another
I
wall.
feather fall the curtains?
You could feather fall the curtains, sure.
Yeah.
Are there enough? Like, are there too many? Can she feather fall all of them?
Featherfall allows you to affect several targets, but in a limited area, I think. You want to look that up real quick?
I am currently.
I have it here. When you or a creature within 60 feet of you falls, choose up to 5 falling creatures within range, and the range is 60 feet.
Are
If
they
the room is
curtain
45,
creatures?
you can do it.
Oh, they're not creatures. That's so clever,
almost
though. I would
let-
let that work. I mean, they'll still fall, but
Yep.
they won't make as much noise.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
you cast Featherfall on the curtains as they're falling, and they fall more slowly and don't make as much noise when they hit the ground. But there are still more curtains falling. But the really scary part is that you hear a low rumbling as the curtains are falling and as you're running across the room. And from across the room, the opposite side from where the door is, through the wall that seems to be made out of stone, you see 3 heads appear. You see a goat's head and a snake's head and a lion's head slowly emerge from the wall. And then you hear another loud rumbling sound, and then from the wall to your right, you see 2 tiny little owlbears walk out through the wall. Tiny, they can barely walk, walking out through the wall into the room, and then you hear a louder rumbling behind them. It sounds like a giant owl crossed with a bear, making a loud hoot.
I want to say that is a cruel trick, but this is the wrong characters.
I
So-
just stand back and watch the animals fight.
Okay.
Nature check. What the heck is that 3-headed thing? That is a 24.
That is definitely a chimera.
You said there wouldn't be any today.
Okay, so guys, I don't think we should stick around for this fight. Let's let them fight it out.
I'm good with running.
Yeah.
Running?
Yeah,
Right.
We got what we came here for.
Okay.
Although
Right,
it
you
would be
definitely
nice
have it.
practice.
This should theoretically be the key. I honestly don't know what the key looks like.
I say we unlock some doors and see.
Yeah, actually,
Well-
let's do that.
As you run into the hallway, you can hear the chimera banging around in the building behind you. In fact, you can hear some rumbling and crashing noises, and as you look behind, you can see it's crashing into the columns, flailing around. It's so big it can't really maneuver well in the room, and it's actually causing some damage to the room behind you. And you can see bits of rock falling down. But as you run into the hall, so that hallway that connected this room to the other hallway is just a straight shot. It's just a straight hallway.
Okay.
Then you run into the hallway that had the several doors in it, including the room with the potions and the alchemist supplies. And as you run into that hallway, you hear the door that you couldn't unlock. You hear the lock suddenly click open.
Does the Chimera look like it's way too big to come through the door that Barzak chopped down?
It can't fit through the hallway.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about closing the door, but you're right. That got chopped down.
Yeah.
Here.
As we leave through that door, I want to cast web to just flood that doorway with webbing.
Okay, cool. The door is webbed.
I'm a little worried about this tower falling down, guys.
Here. Let's try the door that just opened and see what's behind. So I just want to do a quick listen and then just swing it open. The one with the red glow.
Okay, so you look into that room. That is number 5 on my map. All right, this is a workroom filled with materials, supplies, and works in progress. You can feel the heat from a forge, the glow from which lights the room from around the corner to the left. And immediately visible are the following things: a pile of wood and a large coiled rope, a pile of blue crystals and a pile of large gray stones along the wall to your right, a 5-foot pool of clear, clean water in the corner and across and to the right from the door, a wooden chest to the left of the door, a large metal chest, 3 wooden barrels, 6 burlap sacks, a large ring of stone emanating heat, a forge, probably magical in nature, an anvil, a wooden bench with 8 pairs of shoes spread across it, a sword, or what's left of it, on the side of the forge. It looks like it's been beaten into a twisted mess, tongs, bellows, hammers, and other tools.
So I'm assuming that since this is a thieving mission, I brought like a good-sized bag.
You've got a big sack. Yep.
Okay.
I want to.
Wow.
So I want to put all the crystals and all the shoes in this bag.
Okay. The
Oh.
crystals are probably a little bit too big to get all of them, but you can get some of them. They're actually like giant rock-sized, like boulder-sized crystals.
Based on the password, I think these shoes are going to be valuable.
Good guess.
I am also going to try the master key that we just got and go up to the metal chest and see if it unlocks.
Yeah, as soon as you walk up to the chest, it unlocks.
I am so happy with this item
fact-
as I go ahead and flip it open.
Both chests, even the one you're not all that close to, it also unlocks. It seems that it unlocks everything within about 30 feet, whether you want it to unlock or not.
Okay, good to know. Let me go ahead and open the metal chest first and see what's inside.
All
Barzark,
right.
do you want to check the wooden chest?
Yeah.
The metal chest contains a bunch of valuable metals.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yeah, so not coins, but lumps of mithril, adamantine, silver, gold.
I pick out whatever looks the closest to platinum or gold and then shove that in my bag.
The adamantine and the mithril are probably more valuable than the gold.
I'll do that
All
then.
right. All right, you grab those. You grab the valuable metals.
Can I toss them over to Lindley since, he's considerably stronger than me?
Sure.
Okay.
Now you're grabbing the shoes. All the shoes are easy to grab except for one pair when you walk within 5 feet suddenly start dancing around as though they want to dance with you. They're sort of dancing little circles around you.
I pick them up and throw them.
All right. Stop
I
dancing.
want nothing to do with those.
All right. They stop dancing.
Lindley hates dancing.
Actually, no, that's not quite right. They start dancing back over toward you. I'm sorry. They start dancing back over toward you.
Well, then I guess I don't have to put them in the bag. They'll just follow me.
All right. So you refuse to dance with them?
No.
Roll for initiative.
That's a 4.
15.
All right. Lindley has a 4. 15 for Bandy Brad. And what's Barzak?
14.
All right, you must fight the shoes. So the first person to go is Bandy Brad. You see there's this pair of shoes, and they are now attempting to kick Lindley.
Let me go ahead and, since I have quick hands, I'm going to use my bonus action to ready my bow and arrow and then go ahead and take a shot.
Great.
1.
Oh, boy. It's going to be hilarious if you guys get defeated by a pair of shoes.
This is a good day for one.
I hope that's how this goes, but...
That's a mean thing to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's a DM thing to say.
All right, roll percentile.
44.
You drop to the last in the initiative order for the combat and do not get to act again this turn. So...
I get mesmerized by the dancing shoes and just wonder why Lindley wouldn't just dance with them.
Yeah, you are mesmerized and unable to act because the dancing shoes are just so beautiful. All right, and that brings us back. That brings us to Barzak. There are these dancing shoes, these puny, ridiculous dancing shoes. What are you going to do?
I guess can I try to dance with them?
You could try, sure.
Yeah, I'm just...
roll a performance check.
Okay. Let's see, I hope that I have great performance because... Nope, yep, it's an 8.
They are not impressed.
Ouch.
And
They have no math until
Lindley,
we're
you get to
judging
go. No, I'm sorry. The shoes get to go. They attack. They try to kick Lindley, and they roll a 1. So let's see how the shoes fumble. You may all take an attack of opportunity against the shoes as they accidentally flip upside down and are struggling to get back up.
Okay.
Can I just grab them and hold on
Sure,
to
make
them?
a grapple attack.
Okay. That is going to be
use
a
your
7.
athletics.
10.
Okay.
Tell me that it takes more than 10 to grapple a pair of
Well,
shoes.
they rolled a better acrobatics check to get out of the way. So no, they nimbly danced out of your hands as you tried to grab them.
I'm going to try and stab him with my javelin.
Okay, your attack of opportunity. Try to stab them with the javelin.
All right. I got an 18.
That's a hit.
Yep.
Roll your damage.
Okay, 4 damage.
You destroy that shoe.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm just going to say you destroyed them both. They only have 1 hit point each.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Okay.
you destroy the shoes.
Sorry about your shoes.
That's coming out of your cut of the loot.
I really doubt those were valuable.
There's also a fancy pair of shoes with green pair of shoes with bells on them. There's a boring, staid black pair of shoes, a pair of boots with springs on the bottom, a pair of boots lined with black velvet and padded on the bottom, a pair of shoes that constantly change color, a pair of sandals that look cheaply made and dirty, and a pair of tall, fuzzy boots.
But none are attacking us, right?
None of them are attacking you.
Then they can stay in the bag.
All right, they go in the bag.
I think we got what we needed from this side.
We need the wooden chest still.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
what's inside the wooden chest?
So
Thank
I filled my bag with these crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Do the crystals look less valuable than the metals that he couldn't get from the chest?
You're not sure. Roll an intelligence check.
No.
Stupid crystals, they're probably worthless.
I'm too lazy to throw them out of the bag,
Okay.
though.
I can get the metals if I have room after
Sure.
checking the wooden chest.
You grab some metals, but inside the wooden chest is a potion labeled Ouch.
I take it.
There's a pile of paper orders for magic items, as well as some scribbled ideas for magical items.
I take
wanna-
those too.
All right, do you want to hear the magic item
Yes.
ideas? Of course you do. Scissors that never blunt, shears that never blunt, a razor that shaves for you, automated apple peeler, a knife that dances threateningly around the user, leather armor of water resistance that avoids tightening when it gets wet, a helm of second guessing that allows you to quickly change your mind. And then there are several ideas. He's got 2 ideas that have been crossed out and then one that hasn't. He has a strawberry of chaos, an apple of confusion, and then finally the one he settled on was banana of discord. And
would
other
not-
ideas as well.
I would not want to be the beta tester for that razor that shaves for you.
No.
Sounds awful.
So, do you tell us what's in the thing?
Yeah. I'm like, who is this quack?
I know. He's a odd little man. All right, and I'm a halfling. Okay. Do you guys want to go back to his living quarters to see if there's anything else worth of value in there? Oh, wait. Let's go back to the front. Leave the bags there. Fill them up as much as we can with gold, and then try our luck. Do you guys want to do that, or what do you guys want to do?
You hear another loud booming sound coming from down the hallway that you came through.
The one with the chimera or
Yes,
the
that
one
one.
with okay. I'm interested in that chest near the exit and also the exit.
Yeah, seconded.
Okay. Okay. So if everyone agrees, let's just move towards the front and try to use the master key to open the chest. That seems to be filled with gold, hopefully.
Great. Okay, so as you run down the 2 hallways into the shop, you hear more loud rumblings behind you. In addition to the roaring creatures, it sounds like the whole building or cave or whatever it is falling apart. But as you enter the shop, as you open the door, standing in front of you is a tall elf with white hair and red robes. He's pointing a wand at you. And he says, "Burglars, eh? Scoundrels? I know what to do with you. I've been waiting to try this out for a while." And he points the wand at you and says, "Mom!" And
Which you is he pointing at?
I opened the door, so
I guess
probably
Bandy
me.
Brad's in the front.
Yeah.
Right.
And he is immediately struck by a magical force and crumples to the ground.
I grabbed the wand of mom.
I don't think we can do that.
I don't think we should do that. You saw what just happened to him.
Paradox.
Let's go ahead and leave that, and there's better items. I guess from just like perception or an investigation of looking at him, do I think he'll be out cold for a minute? Or
Yeah,
is
he
like,
is
wriggling?
unconscious on the ground, and he has a large L on his forehead now that has magically appeared. And yeah, he's out.
I tie him up.
Yeah.
Okay, he appears to be asleep, so you'll have to do it carefully. But yeah, you tie him up. All right. So as you move toward the exit, the safe does in fact click, unlocked.
Okay. I set the dial. Okay, the dial goes 1, 2, 3, 4. New tower. Where else?
1, 2, 3, 4 is currently set to 1. New Tower, Zauberfeld, Menadum, Washerton, Aldeport, and Drongeldoon.
All right. We know Severfeld is the closest to 4, right? Which is where we were originally.
The closest to 4 would actually be New Tower.
New tower. Okay.
Or either that or Watcherton. Either one would be closer.
Right, but I don't think that once we set the dial to something, we can change it again. So I'm thinking it's set at something close by, but not where we're actually going.
Plus, we don't want him to know where we escaped to.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's set it to new tower. Let's open it and see. Well, actually, and fill up the chest. See what's in the chest.
Sure. The chest is filled with more gold than you can count right now. Silver, copper, a big pile of gems of various kinds. You just don't have, unless you want to sit there and take a break and count it.
Okay, so how about this? The chest won't fit, but the gold definitely will. First, let's go ahead and flip it open and see where the facade is. Is the facade in an alley in the middle of like?
It's in an alley in New Tower. You said it to New Tower, right?
New Tower,
Yeah, it's in an alley in New Tower.
Okay. So how about we fill up our backpacks with as much gold as we can, and then just tip it over.
I'm already filling like my backpack and my bag and like anything that has space, pockets, whatever.
Grab those shoes, fill the shoes with more gold inside.
This is already happening.
Okay. And you just start throwing them out the window?
Just like fill up everything that we have, throw it like right on the other side, and then flip the chest over and make everything fall out.
Okay. All right, so you throw all this stuff out the window, you climb out the portal, emerging into a dark alley in a different place from where you were earlier that night. Bandy Brad, I guess, leads the three of you to an inn that you know nearby. You've been all over the place, right? So you quickly pay Barzak her fee, plus a bonus, because this all went pretty well, I think. You agree to split up and lay low and meet up again soon for your next heist. For the Whisper of the Tower already has another target in mind.
Awesome.
With this new magic key, it should be easy, right? Thanks, everyone, for coming, and that'll be it for this session, and we hope to hear from people on Twitter and Facebook or wherever.